Good afternoon and welcome to the first salvo of the DCB Adoption Enablement Sessions for DepEd. I'm Gerard Atienza and I'll be your host for today. Thrilled to see you whether on Microsoft Teams, Facebook, or YouTube. Before we start, please stand up and pay attention as we begin our prayer.
O God, the Creator of the heavens and the universe, you are worthy of our praises. In you alone we pray and submit ourselves, for we are nothing without you. We humbly ask for your forgiveness and mercy. Dear Lord, we gather here today with the intent of doing good in thy name. Guide us to the right path. May our efforts be blessed with insight, understanding, wisdom, and respect for all. May our deep faith in you give us strength to act honestly and well in all matters before us. Amen.
Service and in partnership with Adobe forms part of the DepEd Computerization Technology Adoption Initiative. Today's session, Mastering Adobe Acrobat, Enhancing PDF with Artificial Intelligence and Collaboration, will cover key topics such as creating and converting portable document format files, including using optical characters, documents into editable text, editing and enhancing PDFs by modifying text, images, and adding rich media, leveraging collaboration tools and AI features for summarizing content and extracting insights, and ensuring document security through password protection, redaction, and sanitization. We encourage you, everyone, to actively participate and explore how these tools can enhance productivity in your daily tasks. While we expect that everyone in our team's meeting have already signed up and registered, we welcome all those who are currently watching on Facebook or on YouTube to register to this event. Kindly scan the QR code on your screen or type in bit.ly/deped adobe for admin sign up. And if you already have a deped email address and you have signed up either way, you will be qualified to be issued an Adobe license, which will give you access to majority of applications and services that form part of Adobe Creative Cloud, including Adobe Acrobat. Once again, we appreciate everyone for your cooperation. At this juncture, we shall now proceed with the session proper. And joining us all the way from India, we have our partners from Adobe to discuss and show us how we can improve and make our work easier using Adobe Acrobat. To introduce their team of experts, I'd like to hand the rest of the session over to Adobe to be started by their customer success team lead and our designated focal person for DepEd, Ms. Divya Mittal.
Thank you, Sir
Divya,
Gerald.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Sir Gerald. And good afternoon, everyone. My name is Divya Mittal. I'm a customer success manager for Debit, and I'm thrilled to welcome you all to today's session focused on Adobe Acrobat. In my role at Adobe, I have an opportunity to work closely with our partners in education to help them making the most of our solutions, simplifying workflows, boosting productivity, and enabling more impactful collaboration across departments and classrooms. Today, we will be exploring how Adobe Acrobat can go far beyond just handling PDFs, from editing and organizing documents to securing files, collecting e signatures, and now leveraging the AI powered features for faster reading and summarizing. Acrobat is also designed to help educators, administrators, and staff working smarter and more efficiently in a digital first environment. We're excited to share best practices, real life use cases, and actionable tips that you can start using right away. And with that, I will hand it over to Pranshul, our expert presenter for today. He will walk you through the key features of Acrobat, showcasing how it can be used in education settings and answer your questions all the way. Over to you, Pranshul.
Thank you, Divya. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Pranshul. I'm a solutions consultant at Adobe, focused on the document cloud set of solutions. And today we will be talking and I'll be showing you a bit about Adobe Acrobat. I'll be showcasing how you can use Adobe Acrobat. We'll look through some of the basics. I have a few examples as well, which I'll be showing you, and maybe a few use cases which I feel possibly you could relate to in your day-to-day workings with these documents. And I'll show you how you can use some of the capabilities, some best practices, some use cases, and basically some tips and tricks as to how you can make your day-to-day life easier with the use of Adobe Acrobat. So before I get started, just a quick refresher on the agenda for today. We'll begin with an introduction to what is Adobe Acrobat. I'm sure you would have heard of the file format PDF. We'll look at how you can create PDFs using Adobe Acrobat, how you can convert it from different document formats to this one. Then we'll look at, okay, I already have a PDF. Now I want to edit the content in the PDF. I want to enhance my PDFs. I might want to place some watermarks on the PDF. I might want to add some rich media. How do I do that? Then we will look at a kind of an example wherein I have a document, I'm working maybe, with someone in my peer, and I want to share the document and understand a bit more on someone else's perspective, how I can collaborate with others using Adobe Acrobat. Then what we will look at is the AI assistant capability now. Adobe has introduced this new capability which allows you to get insights from the document. I have a few examples there as well. I'll show you how you can use AI assistant for working with PDFs, not only on your desktop, on your laptop, but also on your mobile phones. We'll be looking at that as well. And last but not the least, the documents which we have worked on, it's really important to make sure that the security of those documents are taken into account. So I'll be talking a bit about how you can secure the documents, what are some of the options possible, what are some of the configurations possible, and what are certain things which you should keep in mind before you are working and before you are securing your documents so that they kind of become ready for the final storage and your final sharing across these different channels. What also I'll be covering is, because I feel it might be an interesting use case for you to understand how to create forms using Adobe Acrobat. So I have a simple example for you. We'll be looking at a simple registration form, and I'll show you how quickly you can, get started with the form and how you can convert it into a easily fillable web form, which can then be shared across people, or you can put it on your websites or your Viber chats as well as and when required. Before I go ahead, Divya, if I'm not wrong, we will be posting a poll.
Yes,
Yeah,
Pranshul,
maybe
and
you
I
can.
have already launched the poll. So, on your screen, guys, how familiar are you with Adobe Acrobat and its capabilities?
Okay, I would need some honest responses from the team here so I can understand, okay, how are things going? How familiar are you? Is it the first time which you have heard of the product? Are you like somewhat familiar? Do you know a bit about how to use the product? Or you feel that, hey, I'm a pro user. I have been using this tool a lot. I feel really confident in using the application. So I just want to understand what are your thoughts on the use of Adobe Acrobat. Okay, so I see a majority of the people are actually responding that they are somewhat familiar and they use it occasionally. And I see the numbers for that part going quite high. Fairly less number of people say that they are not familiar. And then some of them are saying that you have heard of it, but you have never used it. Okay, cool, perfect, perfect. So I think I have an understanding that most of you are probably all of you most probably have heard of PDF as a solution. So I think you all know what PDFs are. How to use Adobe Acrobat? I see most of you have some familiarity with the tool, which I feel is really good. I'm happy that you guys are using the tool. Maybe what I share today might help you a little bit more as to, certain things which you could be doing a little differently. So we'll look at that part as well. And for the folks who have never used it, or you probably have never heard of it or never looked at what the UI looks like, I think this will be really interesting for you to find out what more you can do and how you can get started with the very basics. So what I'll do is the demo which I'm going to do, I'll keep in mind, and I'll take that point of view that folks who have not really started with the tool, they're able to onboard as well. And the folks who have used or have somewhat familiarity, they can probably find out a few cool features which you can, use as well. So with that, I'll share my screen again and we will get to the introduction part. I have a couple of slides just so that I can bring forward a few points and then we will get into the demo. So what is Adobe Acrobat? So Adobe Acrobat is the tool which you use to basically interact with your PDF documents. You think about creation of PDFs, you think about editing the PDFs, collaborating on these PDFs, securing these PDFs, getting information out of these PDFs using AI Assistant, or say you have lots of documents which are in a scanned format. You have scanned these documents which are in PDFs. You want to OCR those documents. You maybe would have scanned some information using your scanner. You want to get information out of it. So essentially anything related to PDFs, be it on your laptop, on your desktop, on your mobile phones, whichever device you potentially could be using to interact with documents. These documents could be on your system. These documents could be in your archives, in your shared space. You could be getting it from emails, you could be getting it from Teams, from Vibers. All of these PDFs are spread across these different channels, and whichever channel or whichever application or whichever desktop, laptop, or whichever device you're using it from, you can use Adobe Acrobat. If you do not know, and I think most of you still know about this, Adobe is the creator or the inventor of the format PDF, and Adobe Acrobat is the tool which allows you to work with these PDFs. Now, before I go ahead, there might be some confusions at times we have heard, so I just wanted to bring about that when we look at what are the different Acrobat solutions, there are three basically which you will be, seeing across or coming across when you work with the PDFs. The first is Acrobat Reader, which is your free viewer, which you can use to open the PDF, just read the content on the documents. Then is Acrobat Standard with your simple and easy to use tools for your basic or your day-to-day working with the PDFs. And then we have Acrobat Pro, which is like a full suite of capabilities which are provided as part of your subscription, and then you can get more information out of the PDFs. This is more for the advanced users and for the folks who want to use all the capabilities which are available within the application. With that, let me jump to the application itself and let's begin with the demo. So I'm currently in Adobe Acrobat desktop application. I'm showing you in the example in my desktop, or in this case, my laptop, which is a Mac, but the experience will be pretty much similar if you're using a Windows device. And also, this is an application which can be downloaded on your mobile phones as well. In fact, I have a demo later on, which I'll show you for our AI assistant capabilities, how that looks like in the mobile application as well. Okay, so now I have logged into Adobe Acrobat. On the left side, you will see some of the storage areas. That is how you could be accessing the documents. You could be maybe fetching it from your cloud storage if you have connected it. If you're working only with your system, you'll be seeing your computer linked with it. If you want, you have documents on your system, you can just pick them up and you can start working on them. And additionally, if you have connected any third-party apps, those will be shown on the left. Any recent documents which you have worked on, all of them will be highlighted over here in the recent sections. But if you want to get quickly started, it will on top show you some of the tools which you can easily quickly get started and create your PDFs on the go. AI Assistant, this is our newest capability. Probably you will see this pop up coming up in your Acrobat if you have updated to the latest version as well. So what I want to do today is I want to go to a tool and I want to quickly create a PDF. Where do I want to create my PDF from? I have a Microsoft Word document, which is this one. It's a simple Word document which has some content. And now basically I am someone who has created this There's kind of an information white paper, and I want to share this with my students. I've created this report or this synthesis or about photosynthesis, which is a science related topic, and I want to make sure that the one who I'm sharing it to, they understand the concepts well. So I've added some text, I've added some images, I've had some infographics. All of this is added in my Word document. Now, what I want to do is to make it easily shareable and to make it, more interactive, I want to use this in a PDF format. So I'll go to Adobe Acrobat. I'll go to see all tools. When I click on that, it will show me some of the tools which are available. I'll show you some of these tools one after the other. But let's go in a story fashion. That is, um, I'm just starting the journey. What should I do first? So the first step which I need to do is I need to go on create a PDF. As soon as I click on create a PDF, I will be shown different options. I can either create a PDF from a single file, which I want to do in my case. If I have multiple documents which I want to create a PDF file from, I can combine all of those and I can create a multi-page PDF as well. I can create a PDF from screenshots. I can connect it to a scanner. I can get the information from my scanner as well. I can create PDFs from web pages. I can create PDF for content which is copied on my clipboard. Or if I'm like really starting from scratch, I can also start from a blank page and then start working from the PDFs from the get-go as well. In this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select a single file, which is my photosynthesis, and I am going to open it and click on create. Now, what this is going to do is the Word document, which you had seen, it will pick it up and it will immediately convert it into a PDF document. And then that PDF document will be presented to me in Adobe Acrobat. And this is the main page where most of the users will be spending a majority of the time. The viewer on the center will show you the document. You can easily scroll through the documents and go through these different pages. On the left will be the tools which will be highlighted. How you want these tools to be appear, it's pretty straightforward. You'll have a default set of tools assigned to you. If you want to have a particular order on the left side to arrange the set of the tools, you can just drag and drop the tools in whichever order you want, and it will be placed according to your own requirements. Even if you close and open later, this thing will be intact on the Acrobat panel. Now, in this case, I've created a PDF already, looks good, but now before I go ahead, I want to do a few maybe changes to this document. First of all, I had actually created two different documents, but I only have imported one into a PDF. So what I want to do first is I want to combine this with another document which has some additional information. So I'll click on Combine PDF and then I will click on Add Files. And I have another Word document, which is photo 2, and then I'll click on Combine. So now what will happen is the second document will also be combined with the first document, and now this will be created as a combined document, which I can start working on. The next thing which I want to do is I want to look at the pages within my document. So I click on the Organize Pages option, and then I will be shown all the pages which have come up within my document. Now, before I go ahead, I notice, hey, there's a blank page in this PDF. I don't really want a blank page. What I can do is I can just delete it as straight away, quite straightforward. If I feel that certain order of the pages is a bit different, I can change the order of the pages as well. And once I'm good to go, I can directly go to the previous page and again, that's my final PDF, which is ready for me for my next set of stages. Okay, so we've created the PDF, we have maybe combined it with a different document, and also we have looked at how you can organize the pages, delete a few pages, drag and drop a few pages, quite straightforward as of now. Now what I want to do is I want to edit this PDF. That is, I want to edit the content with this document. So what I'll do is I'll click on Edit PDF on the left side. If you notice, now the text will be highlighted into this particular document. So now you see all these boxes have come up next to the text. What this means is now I am in an editing mode. I will be able to change the text in the document. I will be able to add more content. I will be able to remove the content, and I will be able to modify some of the aspects within the document. Your standard text editing capabilities exist here. That is, you can change the font on the left side, whichever font you want to choose, you can choose that. You can choose the font color if you want to. You can select the font size. You can change the editing, the alignment, all your usual text-based editing capabilities are available over here. So let's just say I'm not really happy with this paragraph. I can just select it. I can remove it. If I want to add more text, just adding some sample text here, I can do that as well. I have full flexibility in terms of how much text I want to add, how much I want to remove. In the editing page, I can play around with the documents. I can make sure whatever should be the final version, I'm editing and making sure that that text is added or removed as per my requirements. But I might want to do a bit more. So on the left side, as you can see, you can add text it in the documents. You can add images. In fact, I've added a lot of images already in the documents. One of the examples is a logo. If I want to add a logo before I share this assignment across, I can do that as well. Another interesting thing which I can do is watermarking the PDF. So if I want to keep a watermark, say that this document should be like, let's just say confidential. So what I can do is I can put this as a confidential as a watermark. When I'm doing this, I can keep it at an angle as well. I can keep it straight. I can keep it at a 45-degree. I can increase the size if I want to. I can decrease the size. I can change the angle. I can change the opacity. I can also change the color if I want to. I want to keep it a bit red. I can do that. And as you can see, the watermark has appeared. I'll probably keep a little more opacity and I'll probably increase the size a little bit as well. So assuming you have documents like these, wherein you want to have certain kinds of watermarks applied on the document, you can do that as well using the edit page. Once I do that, the watermark will be applied on the document. You can do a lot more. On the left side, if you see, you can include links, you can have buttons. Let me do a little bit more. I want to include some rich media in this. That is, I want to include a video of, a photosynthesis which I have generated. So what I did was I actually generated a video using Adobe's Firefly capabilities, and I want to import that video over here. So I just clicked on video, dragged and drop a space within the document, and then I'll click on choose photosynthesis and click on open. Now what will happen is this particular document will be added to the document. This particular video will be added, but before it's added, it will ask me, do I trust this document to place the video? When I say yes, see the rich media, which is a very simple short video which I had created for this demo. It's easily imported within my document, and I can just place this particular video anywhere within the document so that when this document is shared with someone and they want to, just quickly look at, okay, maybe you want to improve on the visual aspect of the documents, you can do that using the video. Similarly, you can add an audio as well. Okay, so far what we have done, let me close this. We have created a PDF. We started from a Word document. We went to create PDF. We converted to a PDF document. Then we looked at how many pages are there. If we needed, we can click on combine PDF. We added more pages. We removed a few pages. We saw how you can click on the edit PDF options where you can edit text, you can add text, you can remove text, you can change the font, etc., etc. Then you can add watermarks, you can add or remove images like the logo which I added here. And then what you can also do is you can add rich media such as videos. Now, once you're done with all of these, then you can take this to the next level. What next you can do is you can collaborate with others on the same document. I have another example which I want to share with you. Now, this is an assignment which I am working on. Again, this is an assignment for Introduction to the Environmental Sciences. And then I've put my name, I've put my details, assignment title, I've given an introduction, I've given a body, and then I've given, some additional information to it. Now, I want to make sure that I share this document with someone in my peer network or maybe one of my seniors to just get quick answers or just, just their quick comments on, what do they think about this. So what I'll do is I'll go to the add comments option, and there I have the option of adding a comment. As you can see, I've already put a comment which says I've tagged that particular person to please provide the comments. Now, this person is already an Acrobat Pro user and they are already within the Acrobat interface. They will see a notification when they are within Acrobat that, hey, there is a document, someone tagged you to review a document, and then they can click and review the document. But if not, they will also get an email which looks like this. So in this case, the person whom I had tagged, in this case, could be one of my seniors or peers. This person received an email saying, the sender, Pranshul, that is me, has shared the sample document and you can put your comments to it. Now, when I clicked on the open button, it took me to the PDF. Now, if I was on Acrobat, I could be working on it and then straight away writing the comments. But even if I do not have Acrobat, I'm only accessing this on my web page, I can still click on the link. It will open this browser-based interface within the same browser I'm working in, and I can use this to post my comments. So in this case, I have got this comment from this person. Pranshul asked me, hey, please provide the comments. It actually looks good to me. So I'll just mention, looks good, go ahead. And that's it. I'll post the comment. Now, what will happen is in a couple of seconds, once the syncing happens, back in the original interface where I was working on my original document, this comment will get updated shortly. And whatever comment was provided by my first person or the my senior, that will be updated over here. So you can use this feature. It's actually quite nice feature if you want to collaborate on documents, you want to co-create, and you want to make sure that you're getting these kind of approvals from the right set of people. You can do that using Adobe Acrobat as well. It takes a couple of seconds for the syncing to happen based on the speed, etc. But I'll move on to the next topic, which is, okay, you have looked at how you create a PDF. You have looked at maybe how you might want to collaborate on the documents. You have also looked at how you can edit some of the contents of the document. What I want to also show you is, assuming some of this document was, um, assuming one of this document was taken from a different source. Let's just say I had scanned this document or I had taken a picture of this particular document. So what will happen here is, this is a document which I have opened from my scanner. The issue with this document is this document cannot be searched or read. There's clearly the word leaves, but if I type the word leaves, I do not find any answers. It says the document cannot be searched. So what I'll do is, in this case, I will go back to my Adobe Acrobat, and there is the option on the left, which is called as Scan and OCR. So when I click on Scan and OCR, what it does is, again, it uses the AI capabilities built within Adobe Acrobat to scan the contents of the document and make this document readable. So I'll go over here and click on recognize text. Now what this will do is it will scan through the document, make it readable. And now if I search for the word leaves, see the option is coming up. Now this is really beneficial when you are working with documents which were taken from a scanner. This is really beneficial when you're working with a document, which was just you had taken a photo and you had converted it into a PDF. So all those kinds of documents which you might have, which you have, the source of the document was taken from a paper-based document, from a photo, or from a document which was scanned, which was not readable from you for you previously, you can use the OCR capability to have this document made as readable. I know this is a really important use case because a lot of scenarios I've when I talk to these different people who work with PDFs, OCR always comes as one of the use cases which is really beneficial when you're working with documents. Okay, before we go to the next section and we go to the poll and maybe get an idea of how some of these features can be used, I also want to touch base on one capability, which is the form capability. Now for this, I'll use another example. Now I have a student registration form. Now assuming I'm someone who's maybe passing along these forms to students and I want to capture some inputs from these students. I created this form again using Microsoft Word, simply converted into a PDF, and this is how it looks like. It's a blank form with some text and some spaces allocated to get some information. Now, what I want to do is I want to make sure I create a form out of it. So what I'll do is I will go over here and click on prepare a form and create form. In a couple of seconds, Adobe, again using its AI capabilities, has read through the document and it could find that, hey, there were some blank spaces on the document and there was some text associated with it. See, within a couple of seconds, it has automatically placed form fields on the document itself. And the naming of the form fields has also been kept based on whatever was the text accompanying the form field. So this is as simple as that. If you see, all the form fields are placed already, they are ready for you. All you need to do is make sure that the fields placements is correct. If the form which was created originally had ample space, it will just automatically adjust to the space which was allocated. And now as a form creator, I don't really need to do much. I can just click on send and it will point me to my email or whichever server I'm using to send it out. If I don't want to send it via email, I can just save it on my system and then it will be ready to go. So once this form is ready, it'll look something like this. The recipient who's getting the form either through your email you have sent or through a Viber chat or through Teams, or maybe you might put it on your website, they will be able to go to these boxes which are assigned to them and just start filling in the data. It is as simple as that. If you want to get to the next level as well, you can then get these forms back from them and extract the data of these form fields in a CSV format also. So I know forms is something which probably you would be using in a day-to-day scenarios. You might be someone creating the forms, you might be someone filling in the forms. Either ways, if you are someone who's interacting with these forms, you can look at the prepare a form capability in your system as well to make sure you're creating forms. And as I showed you, it just takes hardly a couple of seconds. It automatically recognizes the form field boxes, places these form fields for you, automatically names them based on the text on the document, and then this form becomes really accessible to you, which you can then share across. Now, before I get to the next topic, I'll probably stop the screen share, and I think Divya has a couple of poll questions to ask you as well. Divya, can you pop up the next question?
Sure, sure, sure. Thanks, Pranshul. And let me pop up the next question. And hope you all are geared up with all the information that Pranshul has shared with you. It's not too much for you right now. So let's test and see how much you have learned till now. Okay, on your screen, just check if it is visible. So which of the following tasks can Adobe Acrobat help you with? Converting files to and from PDFs, editing text and images within a PDF, protecting documents with passwords and redactions, or creating animations and 3D designs. You can select all that apply as well.
We can only select one at a time, Divya.
Or is it?
Yep.
Are they not allowed to select all?
No.
Okay. We can take it like that, Nelson, if that is the case.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks for sharing. And from the results, we can see that most of them have selected converting files to and from PDF.
Oh, that's good to know that you are working on different file formats. And then, as I showed you, you can start from different file formats. You can convert files from, a variety of file formats back to PDF. You can start with one file. You can also start with multiple files to, come and start working on the PDF part as well. What I'll show you in the next part is if you want to export it to different file formats, you can do that as well. Okay, you have a next poll question as well, Divya, or shall we
Yes,
go?
Pranshul. Yeah, I'll do that. The next question is again on your screen. Which Acrobat feature do you think will be most useful in your work? PDF editing and conversion, AI-powered content summarization, security and document protection, collaboration and review tools. Angel, we can see people have selected, most of them have selected PDF editing and conversion.
Okay, PDF editing and conversion, I think is probably the number one in both of these. But I'm glad that AI-powered content summarization is something which is coming up uh, quite nicely, and that's actually a good thing because this is part of our next session or the part of our next part, which I want to present and talk about and show you as well. So I think I've seen the responses. I pretty much understand what the people are using most. So let me show you now some of the AI capabilities of the tool, and let me show you how you can use this on these different platforms, different devices, and how the outputs look like. So let me share back my screen again. Okay, so now the next capability which I want to talk about is the AI assistant. This is something that this pink purple box which you see over here, this is something which will pop up within your Acrobat interface as well if you have updated to the recent or the most latest version. AI assistant is Adobe's recent capability involved in getting or helping you to get more insights from the document. Now, if you look at AI assistant, you should remember these 4 points which I am showing on screen. These 4 points will basically sum up what exactly are we doing from AI Assistant. First, it allows you to generate high quality insights. If you are someone who work with documents a lot, wherein you spend a lot of time working with long documents which you need to read through, understand through, and you want to generate some insights from the document, by insights, I mean there could be bars, there could be charts, there could be graphs, or there could be some additional data contained within these documents. You want to generate some insights, you can do that. It makes writing easy for you. That is, if you're someone who wants to, there's a very complex document, you want to understand that document and you want to create a very simple summary, which potentially you might want to share that with, someone within your group or maybe some of the students, basically make some of the difficult content easy to understand, you can use the writing made easy component. Then it is really easy to deploy. This is more for the the IT admins part. That is, if you want to deploy it, it's really straightforward. From the user part, this UI for AI Assistant, which I'll be showing you now, is embedded within Adobe Acrobat. So there's nothing additional which you need to learn or deploy or install or whatever. It will be within the same interface which you are working on in Adobe Acrobat. Whichever Acrobat version you are using or whichever device you are using, you can take the advantage of AI capability. And the last and the most important point that is why you should use or why would you want to use something like an AI assistant is because your data remains your data. That is, the security of your data is kept intact. We do not use any of the information to train our model. Your information remains intact within the document. We only use the contents within the document to process and give you the answers. We do not scan the web in real time to get you, any answers, or, we don't take your information out of the document to train our LLM model. The data remains secure and intact within the document. With that being said, let me go back to the same assignment which we were working on. And if you see a couple of minutes ago, the previous demo which I was doing, the content where I had shared my comments, I shared this document for comments to my senior. I have got the output back as well, that it looks good. I can go ahead. Now, what I want to do is I'm someone who's probably accessing this assignment, and I want to understand, hey, what is this assignment about? So if you look at the left, there are two options for me. One is a generative summary, and the next is the AI assistant. So when I click on generative summary, if you see on the right, it summarizes the document neatly and gives me an outline of the document. So it tells me that this is about this particular assignment is about plastic pollution. There's an introduction, there's a body, and then there is a conclusion which is added here as well. Now, one of the most important thing which you remember, the very first point, generating high quality insights. What do we mean by high quality? What I mean by that is we are able to pinpoint where exactly did AI get this answer. If you see these purple boxes, 1, 2, 3, 4, we call this attribution. What this does is it pinpoints where exactly in the document is it getting this information from. So for each and every response which you are generating, you will be able to pinpoint where this information is coming from so that you can build credibility with the responses. The second thing which you can do is you can go to AI Assistant and it'll prompt you, hey, what do you want to do with this document? Do you want to understand the document? Do you want to analyze the document or do you want to generate something out of it? Let's just say I want to understand more about the document. Then, based on what are the topics you have selected, it will give you some questions as well. So it will even do the task of understanding the document and suggesting to you, hey, these are some of the questions which you could be asking from the document. If you want to understand, it will suggest you some question. If you want to analyze, it will send you different suggest set of questions. If you want to generate something new out of this, it will again suggest you these different set of questions which you can ask. You can select any of these options based on what you want to do. Let's just say I want to understand what are the main sources of plastic which are entering the oceans. I just enter that. Based on the assignment, it gave me the answer that the main sources of plastic are mentioned are rivers, coastal runoff, and dumping. Where did it get the answer from? I can click on the source and it will take me over here. So that's one of the benefits. You can ask questions, you can get the responses, and it will pinpoint where did it get the information from. You can do a lot more. In the second example, what I've done is I have uploaded um, three different reports. You can work with not only one document, you can work with multiple documents as well. So in this case, I'm doing a bit of an advanced search. That is, I've uploaded multiple reports. I want to get output from all these three reports. It could be more as well. I can upload up to 10 documents. And I've asked it a simple question to compare the trends from these reports in a table form. So as you can see, it has created a very nice table for me for different categories. What does each report say? And each of these answers have a specific attribution associated to it. What it means by that is it's even to pinpoint, hey, if there were three documents, which document, which page, which paragraph, which line, it's going to go into that level of detail. And it's going to tell you, hey, this is the information, this is where it is coming in from, and this is where my final output lies as well. This is something you can do on your desktop and you can also do on your mobile. So I'm just quickly sharing how it looks like on a mobile interface. So I've opened this same document on my mobile. It'll give me an overview. I can understand, analyze, or generate. Questions will be shown. I can enter the questions and it within the same mobile interface. I don't need to go anywhere outside. It will generate the answer for me. And again, as per what I showed previously, it will also generate the attributions. In fact, what you can also do is you can copy the content directly. There's a copy button at the bottom. You can just click it. It will copy the text for you, which you can paste otherwise. What you can also do is you can use the mic and you can ask a question from it directly. So I just pressed on the mic and I asked it a question that, hey, what are the factors which are affecting the health? Very simple question. Based on the context of the document, it understood I'm talking about financial health because that's what the document is about. And then it gave me an answer that based on this, these are the some of the aspects and how you can improve your financial health as well. Okay, so this is how you can use some of the capabilities of AI assistant to generate summary, to analyze the document, and to get high quality insights out of your document. Now, before I end, I have one last thing which I want to cover, and I'll use my photosynthesis document back because this is a document which it's a confidential document. I want to make sure that this document is secured before it goes out. So what I'll do is I'll open this document and I'll click on protect the document and I'll select protect with a password. It'll show me different options. I want to show you the full capabilities. So I'll go to the advanced settings so that you're aware what all you can do in terms of protection. The very first thing is I can do is I can require a password to open a document. If you're sending a document to someone and you want to make sure that they need to enter a password before they open, you can protect the document with the password. And when you're typing that password, it will also recommend is the strength of your password weak, strong, or very strong. So make sure you use good passwords. Second thing, you can also lock certain elements within the document, such as if you might want to just restrict printing, you can do that. You might want to allow the document to be open, but you might say, hey, I don't want this person to be changing the content within the document. So what you can do is you can select what are the changes allowed. Are they allowed to insert, delete? Are they allowed to fill in data in form fields? Are they allowed to comment, fill in data, etc., etc.? And then you can select a password for those set of changes as well, which are allowed within the document or not. So you can go into that level of detail and make sure that you are securing the document with a right set of password. Once you have done this, the final document will be ready for you, and then you can save the document. But before you do that, if you want to say redact some information out of the document, you can also do that. Redaction is really important. So if I click on redact a PDF on the left side, I will be able to remove some sensitive information from the document. So let's just say this particular paragraph is something which I want to remove from the document. I can select it and then I can click on apply. What this will do is it will permanently remove this particular text from the document, and this will be saved as a new redacted document. What I mean by redaction is to permanently remove that particular part of the document and to ensure that this data is now completely removed from the agreement or the data. Last step, if you want to, you can save this PDF as a secured PDF with password protection, which is redacted. If you want, you can click on export PDF option and you can export to other file formats as well, such as Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, Excel. In fact, you can also create an Adobe Express standout document as well. So there are a variety of options available to you. In fact, if you remember, I started my journey with a different file format. I converted a Word document to PDF. I edited the contents, I added some more information, I removed information, I added pages, removed pages, edited text, added some of the watermarks. In fact, I even added a video right at the very end to make it more interactive. Then I made sure that I can, if I need it, I can collaborate on it. I can use AI Assistant to get insights out of it. Then I can protect the document, redact the document out of some information, and then I can save it as a secured PDF. Or if I want to, I can export it to a different file format as well. I think we're a few minutes over the time, so I'll just stop the screen sharing and hand it back to Divya.
Thank you, Pranshul. And I think we need to take a couple of questions as well. So, guys, you can put it on chat while we have some questions already there. And are you able to read that through, Pranshul? Okay, I'll read it for you, one of them, which I just told him to get that answered in the last. Okay. I think Rocky, who is one of the users, is asking how can we resolve, for example, from Word converted to PDF or vice versa? Some content are not accurately converted, like some fonts are different and other placeholders are misplaced.
Okay, so the output of how Word comes to PDF or how PDF goes to Word is also dependent on how good the original document was. Now, unless I look at the original document, I might not be able to comment as to why certain parts of the document went from one place to the other. But just as a best practice, if the document is neatly formatted in the original format, be it a Word or PowerPoint and so on the format, the output will look pretty good. If there are some smudges or if there's some handwritten text or if some images which are like blurry and all, those kind of outputs might not really be read correctly by the engine to get converted. But unless I look at the specific document, I might not be able to give a precise answer as to why certain parts or placeholders might not come in. Sometimes what happens is you might have scanned the document and it will try to understand the font of the document, and it might not find the font as any of the standard fonts which are used in your day-to-day usage of the tool. So what it'll do is it'll try to find the nearby or the nearest matching font, and it will assign the scanned text to that font. So that is something which could be happening in your scenario as well. But if you need probably more information on that document, maybe if we can have maybe a separate session just to understand the document, I'm happy to maybe look at the document and give a feedback on that as well.
Just
Hope that
to
answers.
Divya, just to add to it, right? So whenever you have a Word document and you have multiple fonts used in the Word document, you should, when you say save as PDF, you need to make sure you embed the fonts inside the PDF. If you do not embed the fonts, that means when you save as a PDF, the fonts are not there. That means the formatting will change of the PDF. Right, that's one of the major issues. The second thing is when you are converting back from PDF to Word, you need to make sure the conversion, most of the time, you might be using various softwares or you might be getting PDF created by any other PDF tools. And what they do is instead of using the ISO standard of conversion, they flatten the file so much that it is not a PDF format from Adobe. And reconverting it back might be a bit more challenging. So, as Pranshul said, if you have any documents as a PDF, you want us to look into it, send us a buzz. I have put in a link for embedding the fonts. Please have a look at it. Thanks.
Thank you, Nelson. There is a question, Pranshul. We just want to ask if can the AI assistant work with scanned PDFs or only digital desktop?
It can work with scanned PDFs as well. In fact, that is a feature which was requested quite a lot. And as in our latest version, which got released sometime back, you can use it on scanned PDFs as well.
Yeah, thanks, Pranshul. Another question that we have is Adobe Acrobat can be used to compare two versions of PDF.
Yes, you can use compare PDF option within Adobe Acrobat. That is the standard feature which is available. You can upload one document, the compare PDF tool, you can compare it with others. You can also use the AI assistant to compare and contrast, like the one which I did in my example. I asked it to create a table of these different trends. So if you want to do more of a one-to-one comparison, that hey, is the text over here same as the text over here, you can use the compare feature. But if you want to know more in terms of the contextual differences between the documents, then you can use the AI assistant. But the simple answer to your question is yes, you can compare multiple documents within Adobe Acrobat.
Thanks, Pranshul. I couldn't see any more questions, so I'll pass it on to Sir Gerald for the closure of this event. Sir Gerald, over to you. Another question by meanwhile, Sir Gerald is coming up. Is AI assistant available only for pro accounts?
No, AI assistant can be used for pro standard reader. It can be used on desktop, laptop, or on mobile phone. In fact, the example which I showed you, one was on laptop. The second one, which I was just popping up, it was on a mobile. So you can use on any version of Acrobat, or you can use it on any device in which you are accessing Adobe Acrobat.
Just to add to that, on the AI Pro account, if you have a free reader and if you just have purchased AI Assistant, AI Assistant will run on a reader as well as on your mobile, right? So that is a separate this by itself. For I think AI assistant is quite useful if you're doing thesis and you have got a research and you're looking into a document. It can give you fast outputs in terms of what you need on how you can use that as well.
Thanks, Nelson. Sir Gerard, over to you, and thank you, Pranshul, for the wonderful presentation. I think it helps the users a lot. In terms of getting the licenses and everything, I could think Sir Meekbull will be able to help and advise further. So I'll pass it on to the DEPET team. Sir Gerard, Sir Meekbull, over to you.
Thank you so much, Pranshul and Divya, our friends from colleagues from Adobe, and thank you so much for joining us today. And we are looking forward to see you again on our next session. So if you guys, if everyone, if you have questions on Adobe Acrobat, you may keep posting if here on our Teams meeting, or if you are on Facebook and YouTube, you can raise them in our comments, and we'll get back to those. And if hopefully we'll be able to release them, release a frequently asked questions or user guide on that might be able to answer some of your particular questions. Okay, so at this juncture, we will please look forward for our session this coming Thursday, April 10th, where we will be discussing latest innovations in Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, and InDesign. So a few another some reminders though. If you haven't registered already, please do so. Particularly for those who are joining on Facebook and YouTube, please join. Please register using the link that is on the comment section of Facebook and YouTube. Now, again, thank you so much, Divya and Pranshul, for joining us today. And before we end the session, we would like to remind everyone to answer our post-event survey. This will allow us to gauge how much you've learned so far, what other topics in Adobe Acrobat or other Adobe applications you would wish to learn from us, and as well to improve the event. So the link is going to be on your screen shortly. So in case you don't see it yet, it's going to be bit.ly/deped dash Adobe for Apps dash post event. Again, that's bit.ly/deped dash Adobe for Admin dash post event. So on behalf of the Information and Communications Technology Service and our partners from Adobe, would like to thank each and every one of you for signing up and showing up for our one for our short session today, and we are looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Once again, I am Gerard Atienza. See you this Thursday for our session on Illustrator, Photoshop, and InDesign as we continue this series on the DCP adoption Adobe enablement sessions for DepEd. Once again, good afternoon to everyone and enjoy the rest of your day. Maraming salamat po.